Friends, good evening. Welcome to the very beginning of what will become episode 69.
69.
69, dudes!
Hey, look at that ring. What is that?
That is my junior college class ring. Come out.
I also hope to come out one day, preferably in a 69.
For this one, there's a little bit of prep involved anyway, but we're going to have to kind of rewrite this a bit because, again, many of the prescribed ingredients and methods I simply cannot find. Not to put it on them, but the authors are British, at least one of them. So some of the stuff that is much more common there, either I literally can't get, I can't find, or it's ridiculously expensive to try to put together. So let's start with this. The recipe calls for 14 ounces of cherries in Kirsch. Kirsch, Kirsch. From what I learned, Kirsch is a German variety of brandy. It's not a brand name, it's just a variety, a type of German-made brandy. And cherries in Kirsch would be like that brandy, then typically, fill a jar or a container, a bottle with cherries, cover it with this Kirsch brandy, and then you would kind of buy it that way. And then you'd use, in our recipe, they say to use the liquid and the cherries from that in different ways. We don't really have that luxury, so we're going to try to make this work around. So the first step that we're going to do is I'm going to take maraschino cherries, and I am going to strain them and keep the liquid. I don't really know if I'll need the liquid for this per se, but might come up otherwise. What I really am after in this case are just the cherries. So we're going to strain this. All right, and then unfortunately, we're painstakingly going to take all the stems off of these. I'm sure you might be able to find stemless cherries of some other kind you could use for this. I'm gonna take all the cherries, I'm gonna put them just in a container that can be enclosed. What I'm gonna add to it then, what I was able to find was Jacquin's brand wild cherry flavored brandy. I think that's the closest to kind of recreating what they would like us to do at first. So I'm kind of in my head creating cherries in Kirsch by taking a cherry brandy and soaking the cherries in it as well. We're gonna let it sit for 24 hours. So I'm gonna come back tomorrow for the next step, and then you'll see what we're gonna do. But this is really what's gonna happen first, okay? Oh, small little matter. Technically, I believe this container, this size I found, is only 12 ounces. They asked for 14 of the Kirsch, but again, we're gonna work with what we got. So this is just gonna get sealed up, in theory. It's gonna get sealed up. Like I said, I'm just gonna put it in the fridge, I think, and let it sit for 24 hours. So let's snap forward to the future. Oh, here we are, into the future. All right, step 2. We're gonna take the cherry brandy mixture that we made up. It's been in the fridge for 24 hours. We're gonna re-strain it. Really, the effect here was trying to get a brandy infusion into the actual cherries, because we're gonna use those in a little bit. So we're gonna re-strain this to re-separate. We're gonna strain it to re-separate the cherries from the brandy. And we're gonna put that right into the pot here. And then other than that, we're gonna lift this up. Other than that, we're going to put in 16 ounces of, as fresh as you can find, cherry juice. Okay, then you want to bring this to a boil and then let it simmer for about 20 minutes. With not that much liquid, you might be asking why such a big pot. It's because afterward we're going to put the cherries back in, use a hand mixer to mix everything up. I don't trust myself to be able to contain that, so I left myself a lot of splatter containment area here. If you're better than that, you might be able to use something smaller, but that's what we're going to do. So first things first is get this puppy up to a boil. 20 minutes to simmer, let it cool down, then add the cherries back in. But I'll check back in a moment. Okay, after the boiling, the simmering time, the cooling down, I think we're ready to proceed. Take those cherries that had been previously soaking in the cherry brandy that we had made and put those back in. And take your hand mixer, mix it all up, basically making a puree. Once that's done, put it in a container, refrigerate for a day or two until you're ready to use. So, especially if you go this method, it's not going to be an immediate use thing. Even if you could find actual cherries in Kirsch already bottled and whatnot, this is going to be a thing that you're kind of prepping a little bit in advance, at least a day or two, letting chill in the fridge before really using. So we're going to mix this up and then one more leap in time, and then we'll be able to actually use this, and you guys will see what we come up with. All right, bye. All right, we finally got everything put together. We're here to Friendsgiving with awesome people in our life. We already really did our setup. We just mixed some sugar with edible glitter, rimmed all of our glasses in that, put our cherry puree, brandy puree into each of the glasses. We're gonna top each of these with Prosecco, and it is ready to serve. So these look delicious. I think it's going to be great. This is number 69, Neutsch, in the bag. And thanks. We will see you guys next time.